So I've been gone for a minute. I apologize. It's been a while since I've been on, but I've been on a huge journey these past few weeks. So we're at 38 weeks, and if you recall my last video about my breech baby, um, we found out via 3D ultrasound that our darling little baby is breech and was frank breech, so feet were nice and tight by the ears, and then they were transverse, so baby was lying sideways, and then we were oblique transverse, so the head was kind of pointing to my hip bones. But now, so we had my OB scheduled me for a final ultrasound, so kind of because I'm pretty much considered full term, I mean, at this point, they predict that the baby may or may not change position. And the goal is to have the baby be head down. And this baby, according to my ultrasound, is now complete breech, which means that the wonderful legs are nice and crisscrossed and sitting down like a little Buddha. So I just finished my appointment with my OB, and he said that at this point, there's probably a reason why the baby is in this position. Although the ultrasound produced fantastic measurements and results, there's no cord in the way according to ultrasound. The baby has a good weight. The fluid levels are perfectly fine. They don't think that, well, they've given me the choice. I have two options. I can schedule a C-section, or I can just go into labor naturally like I want to and see what happens, see if the baby changes a position, see if so the hospital I'm at, if you go into spontaneous labor, so they call it, whoever is on call for that night, they will be the ones delivering your baby. So it's not necessarily your OB. And the general consensus at my hospital is breech baby equals cesarean. And as you know, although I respect the surgery, I respect the procedure, I personally want and I enjoy the experience of bringing my beautiful babies into the world vaginally. There's no other pretty way to say it. So, you know, it's a conversation that my husband and I have debated over. Okay, so let me take you back to the past couple of weeks since my last video. I did a ton of research. I asked a lot of questions. I called a number of midwives, believe it or not, asking, you know, will you take me on? Will you support me and help me bring this baby into the world at home via vaginal delivery? And a lot of midwives said they refer breech babies out to the OB because of the general nature and the general, I guess, sensitivity around, you know, a lot of things could happen. It could be very dangerous. Baby could get stuck. You know, you don't want to be in transport in labor heading to the emergency department. And I've called a number of OBs, and a lot of them have said they will not take me on. So I found an amazing chiropractic practice in my neighborhood, and I met a wonderful chiropractic doctor who specializes in pediatric chiropractics and prenatal, and was like, she was a breath of fresh air. She just understood me. She understood, you know, that I loved the idea of a natural birth and the beauty of birth and bringing a life into the world and wanting to do the utmost best for this person. And you know, we talked a lot about fueling our bodies and the things we could do. And I was scared of chiropractic. I've always been scared. I don't know why. I have this irrational fear of my bones breaking or hearing them crack. So I've never been to a chiropractor. And I know it's a childish opinion, but when you don't know something, you build up this imaginary fear inside you, and I've kind of held onto that all these years. So she understood that I was scared, and she was gentle. I mean, so gentle with me. Um, and she did an assessment, and she talked about, the types of things that she found when she assessed my body, and she talked about a Webster technique that is a technique that chiropractors use to help with opening up and providing more room and space so that the breech baby has more pelvic room to move. They do not turn your baby. That is not their practice. That's not what they do. They are there for overall health of the bones and spine alignment. And I have a ton of pain in my hips because of all of the widening and stretching, and it was getting difficult to walk. Sitting in a car hurts. Like if I'm in the car for like 20 minutes, I got to get out and stretch because it's just too much weight and pressure that I feel in my hips. And going on the subway or the bus, like that alone just throws my lower back out. So I started getting adjustments, and it was a dream come true. She helped my body feel so secure and strong. She made me very comfortable in the practice, and the type of skill and care that the doctor used in not only just the adjustments, but in using the Webster technique and aligning all of these things that I actually never really understood. I mean, I would have little aches and pains, and I just thought, okay, well, I'll chalk it up to, just how my body is. And those little items, they just disappeared. She just helped them, and who knew that it was because of the bones? The bones would, help all these problems. But so I did chiropractic. And then I met a wonderful doctor, a naturopathic doctor in my neighborhood who as well specializes with prenatal treatment, and she performed acupuncture. Another thing that I was scared of, I don't do needles, and the acupuncture was scary. I mean, you think, oh, needles are sticking out of your body, what are you going to do? I went, and she performed, so basically she tapped in these acupuncture needles into certain pressure points in my feet and my wrists and my calves. I don't know, but all these little touch pressure points, and she was able to, this is supposed to help with getting your body in optimal position so that if your baby is breech, that touching these certain pressure points will help. And again, they don't turn your baby, but it helps put your body in. It helps create a beautiful space so that if the baby did not have any room to move, or maybe that was a reason why they just are stuck in that position, they are now able to. So I did that. She gave me a pulsatilla, which is a wonderful remedy, and it's something you should look up or speak to a naturopathic doctor about. There's a ton of wonderful medicines that you can take for overall health, and it's all it's something that if you're interested in, you should really look it up and really try and find a really good practitioner in your neighborhood if this is something you want to try, because they will provide you with information. They do an assessment about you, and it's catered to you. It's not a one size fits all practice. And that was one thing that was eye-opening to me, that I didn't realize how wonderful acupuncture was. I didn't realize how great chiropractic was. And I had to get over my fear. I mean, I'm 34 and I'm still scared of needles. I'm scared of a lot of things, and I I just want to create this environment for this baby so that if my body was unable to provide enough space or room or whatever for this baby to turn, like I really just wanted to make sure that this baby was, this baby has whatever it needs so that they can come into this world safely. And so I feel like my journey so far in my third trimester has been more of a learning experience, and I just feel very fortunate to have met these two great doctors who have educated me on my body, educated me on technique and practice. They've taught me to, respect my body and respect what I put in my body and what I do to it and how I treat it, and to really recognize, we put a lot of strain on our bodies. This is not just even being pregnant. I mean, just forget being pregnant, like strain alone on the body. And they basically taught me to find what our body needs, and treat it well and respectfully so that it can do more for you. Now, another intervention that I tried was Moxibustion, which is these moxa sticks they're like little charcoal sticks that you burn close to a pressure point by your pinky toe, and it's supposed to also create an environment for your breech baby to turn. So anyways, so I've spoken to OBs, I've spoken to midwives, anyone I can find, I'm talking to them. And now I'm here, and I posed a question to my OB. Scheduled C-section versus emergency C-section. And the response was, the only difference is with an emergency, it's pretty chaotic. It's like, an emergency means that there's either something very severe happening and they got to do this very fast. So even though the hospitals and everyone there is prepped and they know their role and they know what to do, it's overwhelming because everything is happening at such a great speed that one minute you're here and then the next minute you're holding, like there's a baby coming in or they're dealing with intervention, and it can be a lot to take in. It's something that your body isn't prepared for. Whereas with a scheduled cesarean section, you are, everything's well planned. A room is set up for you. You have the right people with you. You do the prep work. You have the time to get yourself mentally prepared, so physically prepared, so that you can go into the surgery and your body can do what it needs to do. Your surgeon can take their time and do what it is that they need to do. Not that they don't do it in an emergency section, it's just that you have the ability to pick your surgeon. You have the ability to have more control than you think. And I spent hours talking to my OB, hours talking to my husband, and we came to the decision that there's a reason this baby has chosen to stay in this position. Before we have signs of anything severe, I think that the beauty of this birth will be bringing another human into the world, and it will happen via surgery, via a cesarean section. And I'm scared, I'm nervous, because it's another thing that I just don't want to do. I don't want to have surgery, but I also don't want anything to happen to this baby. So with that, I signed a bunch of paperwork and I scheduled a C-section. So my third child will, providing I don't go into labor before the date, will be delivered via C-section. And I'm nervous, I'm scared. Oh, there's a version which is like they manually turn your baby, and my doctor said that there's a 40% chance that it actually works. So, why put your body and your baby through that stress? So I've decided not to do that. That's the one thing I've decided not to do for now, I think. Stay tuned. I don't know. But right now, I'm scheduled for a C-section. I'm confident in my surgery and my surgeon. I'm just worried about the recovery because, as you know, I have 2 older children at home. We're heading into a brand new school year. I have a lot on my plate scheduled for the next few weeks, and being in a situation where I have to heal and not do a lot of things, it's going to be hard for me. It's going to be hard for me to unload the things that I have on my plate. So not only am I going to have to mentally prepare for the surgery and the baby, I'm also going to have to prepare for my boys and having someone take care of them in our home. And so I've got a bit more planning to do, and it's, I guess in some ways it's nice that we've scheduled it and I'm able to put together a plan as best as I can. And I'm confident in my surgeon. We've had numerous conversations, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned.